As Americans, we have rights that are protected by the U.S. Constitution. Some of the most important rights that we have are the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and the Fifth Amendment, which have been limited by the U.S. Patriot Act that was passed by Congress after the events of September 11. The U.S. Patriot Act allows illegal search and seizures, wiretapping, and allows secret court hearings, all in the name to stop terrorism at home. So, is the government limiting our civil liberties?
On my perspective, on my takes, I feel that some things are not allowed for people to know. I know for sure that government does censor certain things, like the war in Iraq. You do not see anything of it, but you have the internet. And through there it's very hard to censor things, and right there you're able to actually go and look at things you want to know. But I already know that the government really does impose restrictions on the media and make it very difficult for the majority of the public to know what's going on, and other things such as freedom of speech and rights for you to go to certain places. There are some certain restrictions imposed, I feel. Some example of that is speaking on public. Officers may come and say, you're disturbing the peace. Some excuses and stuff like that. But it's just this whole structural violence that's occurring. So it's blinded. You do not see the restrictions. You're just only focused on interpersonal violence, and you're not really focusing on the big picture of violence that is restrictions. And we don't see the restrictions because we're only concentrated on our problems, trying to gain more money, get more money, and just this whole capitalist system that has us suppress and not letting us being aware that we are under control and are manipulated, because we are not focusing in politics that much, that we are trying to make a change in our government or system. So it's kind of like we're being geared and manipulated to focus on Paris Hilton, on celebrities and stuff like that. In fact, seeing the major tax cuts printed right here in California mostly, you see a lot of budget cuts, a lot of programs being cut and stuff like that. And we're not aware of that. And sadly enough, there's a lot of information out there that's going on, and we're not aware of. Me personally, I'm not aware of many things. A lot of things come to me as surprise through word of mouth, what the government's doing. And so if we are being censored, I feel there's a lot of censorship.
The U.S. government is limiting our civil liberties in the way that, one of the things that they have passed is actually, again, this is the Constitution, which would be against search and seizures, and we know now that they're wiretapping. We know also that they're not against waterboarding, a form of torture. That's certainly a civil liberty. So in that way, yes, they are limiting our civil liberties. Every demonstration we have is difficult to have. They always give us as much trouble as they can on the behalf of the police, So it's our job to be organized and to understand that the police are here for a certain reason, and that the U.S. government functions in a certain way that is made to limit us at every point, to limit us in the way we organize, and because that's the way that we're most strong on the streets, showing our strength in numbers.
No matter what, we say don't rescue the banks, expropriate.
Yes, I do believe that the U.S. government is limiting our civil liberties, especially after 9/11, because of the fear that there would be more upheaval within the nation. So they're trying to limit what we are able to do as an organization, as groups, as individuals, to make sure that we don't get out of hand. So I do believe that the U.S. government has limited our civil liberties greatly.
If we continue with this policy, there's a real danger of America becoming a police state. We should not fear our government. Our government should fear us. It is up to us to speak up against these unfair policies. We can protest, and we can call our government officials to turn down the U.S. Patriot Act before it's too late.